Hi everyone, my name is Joyce Tong. I'm level 2 official, level 2 umpire and representative of the HKLA Officials Committee.
I'm Joyce Tai, and I'm the umpire-in-chief at HKLA.
Today we're here to go through the conversion course of the women's 6v6 rules. Just a quick question. Is there anyone here that doesn't understand Cantonese? Anyone? Okay, no response. No worries. I'll try majority of the time to use English as the medium for this course. So let's get started on it. Quick background of the women's 6v6 rules. By World Lacrosse, 6v6 rules was developed for international growth of the game of lacrosse to increase spectator appeal. And practically, it does unify the women's and men's game in terms of procedure as well as terminology. So this is the new field marking of the women's 6v6 field. In the center is a 5-meter radius draw circle. It is noticeable that there is no longer the 15-meter and 11-meter fan. And as well as a unified 10-meter sub box, 10 meters in length and 5 meters deep, situated between the team bench areas. So this is a shared sub box. Only players in the process of imminent substitution should move through this area. If throughout this course you guys have any questions, please feel free to turn on your mic and ask. Or if it's not convenient for you, you can type in the chat box and I'll try to address them on the spot. So after the field marking, we'll go to some pregame changes. The 6v6 rules is a 12-player roster, including 1 team captain, 1 goalkeeper minimum, and 1 in-home player. An in-home player is a player that will take any non-player specific fouls. For example, if during a loose ball, a coach commits a technical foul, an in-home player of the team would serve that penalty. Apart from that, the in-home player is also the recipient of the opponent's own goals. The 6v6 game is 4 8-minute quarters with 2 2-minute quarter breaks and 1 5-minute halftime in the middle. Each team has 2 30 seconds timeout per half. This can be called by the coach or the ball carrier when your team has possession of the ball in the offensive end or during dead ball possession. So these are the 3 opportunities when a team can call a team timeout. Other pregame changes regarding equipment is the approved stick length. The previous approved stick length for the 10% rules was 90 to 110 centimeters. It is now 100 to 110 centimeters. Other equipment, that's the only equipment change for the 6v6 rules. All other equipment specifications is listed in the 10v10. So if you have any questions about that, please go and revisit it. Other pregame changes is regarding pregame stick checks. So we no longer have pregame stick checks before a game. In lieu of a stick check, a head official will ask the both coaches or the captains of the team, coach, are all your players properly equipped and is all your equipment legal? After doing so, the coach or the captain should tell yes. And if any equipment is found illegal during the game, it will be subsequently a major foul. Other game changes is during draw and possession. Each quarter will begin with a center draw inside the 5-meter draw circle. All the players will stand outside the center circle, cannot enter until player possession or until the ball leaves center circle and free ball is called. So previously, in 10v10 rules, when you had the draw player inside the center circle and 2 pairs of players standing at the side of the circle, players could enter this, the draw circle once the official's whistle was sound. Now, that circle is like the restraining line of a 10v10 rules. You cannot step into that circle until the ball leaves that circle or until a possession is called. Second, regarding drawn possession is now an alternative possession will take the role of a throw in a 10v10 field game. The winner of the coin toss gets to choose the first defending goal or the first alternative possession. Second is possession carryover. Under the following circumstances, a quarter may not begin with a draw. Either one, at the end of a quarter is an extra player situation, and the next quarter will commence by awarding the ball to the team that had the possession at the end of the previous period in the same relative possession on the field. Second, if a team is guilty of delay of game, possession will be awarded to them and it will not be to the non-offending team, and the quarter will not begin with a draw. Thirdly, if a non-player team of the foul commits a foul prior to the commencement of the next quarter. So a non-playing member is usually a coach or some sort of team manager for your team. The change regarding the out of bounds. When a ball leaves the field of play, it is considered out of bounds. Possession shall be awarded at the spot where it was declared out of bounds to any player on the opposing team, to the player who last touched it. So I'm just gonna go through 3 quick examples. Hopefully you guys are on the same page with this. Please open your mic and answer what you think is the right answer. So the example I have is in a game versus red versus white, who does the possession go to? So first question is, if red takes a shot, the ball touches nothing and goes directly out of bounds, who do you think the ball goes to? Any answers? Anyone?
White.
Hello?
White.
White, yes. So red takes a shot, touches nothing, goes out of bounds. The ball will be awarded to white. Second question. So if red takes a shot, the ball hits the goal pipe and goes out of bounds. Who does the ball go to? Anyone? This might be a tricky one. Anyone?
You can type in the answer.
You can type in the answer if you'd like. Any brave souls? So red takes a shot, the ball hits the goal pipe and goes out of bounds. Where does the ball go to? Yes, Philly. White is right. White is right. So regardless of if the ball touches the goal pipe or touches nothing, goes out of bounds, because of the last touch rule, the ball is awarded to white. So the third scenario, if red takes a shot, the white goalie deflects it and the ball goes out of bounds, who does the ball go to? Anyone? Red. Yeah, that's right, Christy. So hopefully through those 3 scenarios, everyone understands that there is no longer such a thing as the chase rule. Whoever touches the ball last before the ball goes out of bounds, your opponent will get the possession. Okay? So hope that clarifies any questions you guys have regarding out of bounds. Next is shot clock. Upon a team gaining possession, there shall be a 30-second shot clock in which the team with possession must complete their play. A shot clock only resets during these 5 scenarios: when it hits the goal pipe or rebounds off a goalie, if any foul that happens. Third is a change of possession. If a play is stopped for a defensive injury, or after a goal or the expiry of a 5-second crease count, shot clock will reset. The shot clock does not reset when the shot does not come from above the goal line extended. Second is during a team or official timeout. If you do call timeout, your shot clock does not reset. Third, if the ball hits the goalkeeper, in exception to these 2 rules, the shot clock does not reset. So to give a bit more clarification on that is, if red team takes a shot on the white team, the white goalkeeper deflects it, and then a red teammate regains the possession, the shot clock did not reset. So you still have the remaining time to complete your play. Is that clear? Okay. Next is for the goalkeepers out there. These game changers are regarding the goal crease, and the goalkeeper. Firstly, is a 5-second count. So a defender and player may not possess the ball while in the goal crease for more than 5 seconds. So subsequently, after a shot, and the goalkeeper has only 5 seconds to clear the ball out of the goal. The second change is the goalkeeper may not hold, catch, or pick up the ball with their hand. So previously, goalkeepers were allowed to save a ball in the goal crease, and inside the goal crease, they can pick up the ball and put it in their stick. So with the new, with the 6v6 rules, this is not permitted. So this is a minor foul. Second is after ball possession in the goal crease area and the ball subsequently leaves the goal crease, the team cannot intentionally return the ball into the goal crease unless it's been possessed by an opposing player. So previously, let's be more graphic with the example. If the goalie has the ball, comes out of the goal crease, if the goalie stick has been checked, we consider that played. The goalie can then roll the ball back in the crease and go pick it up. So this is no longer permitted in the 6v6 rules. So the ball must have been changed in possession to be considered legal for it to return back into the goal crease. Second is when can a player run through the goal crease? So only under 3 situations can this happen. A is when a defensive player can run through or remain in their own goal crease when their team has possession of the ball. This is the first situation. Second, when the opponent has the ball below the goal line extended, all defenders can run through any portion of the crease, but only one defender in 1 stick length from the ball carrier can remain in the crease. Third is when the opponent has the ball above the goal line extended. All defenders can run through the portion of the crease below the goal line extended, and only one defensive player marking the ball carrier can run through or remain the crease. Okay. Am I going too fast? Does anyone need any clarifications about what I've told you guys so far? Nope. Okay, then I will continue. Over and back. So over and back is not considered a minor or a major foul. This is a technical foul. So illustrated here, once a ball enters the offensive end, it cannot be brought back to the defensive end through the actions of the offensive team. Unless a shot leaves the offensive zone, then you can go back to the defensive zone, pick up the ball, and continue to play it. Second, if a loose ball leaves the offensive zone and it was last touched by the defensive team, so if a deflection happens. Third is a loose ball is leaving the offensive zone and the defensive team is called for a loose ball foul. These are the only 3 scenarios where it is not considered an over and back violation. So in the case of an over and back violation, the official will use an immediate whistle and awards the non-offending team the ball possession. Unless an official determines that the non-offending team is able to pick up the ball and continue to play, then the held whistle technique or the slow whistle technique will be used to refrain the stoppage of play. So yeah. Next, going on is the 3 types of fouls that we now have in the 6v6 rules. It will be the minor foul, major foul, and expulsion fouls. We're going to go through them quite carefully and slowly. So the characterization terminology of what was considered a major foul or minor foul might be different in the 6v6 versus the 10v10 rules. So let's start with the minor fouls. Minor fouls, the first foul is interference. So a bit more of a description. The definition of interference is a player may not, by the use of their body or stick, interfere with a player who is in pursuit of an opponent who has possession of the ball. So to clear things up a little bit for you guys, blocking, detaining, and charging in the 10v10 rules are all under interference in the 6v6 rules. Okay? I'm only gonna deliberately go through the minor fouls with the asterisks I've marked. So there are different terminology and the definitions are a bit different. So I will go through them in a bit more detail, but rules such as pushing, illegal pick, I won't go through them. Unless you guys have any questions, you can ask me. But yeah, so pushing, illegal pick, holding, these are all minor fouls. Second is withholding ball from play. So withholding ball from play is fouls previously that was called covering or illegal cradle. These are all now withholding ball from play. Next is illegal actions with the stick. So the previous foul called throw cross is illegal action with the stick, as well as swapping a stick with a teammate on the field is also no longer legal. It is considered a minor foul. Third is empty stick check is illegal actions with the stick. Okay. Illegal actions by team officials, that is a minor foul. Next is illegal procedure. So there's a lot of fouls that are defined under illegal procedure. Firstly is leaving the penalty area before the authorization of the timekeeper is illegal procedure. Second is delay of game, illegal substitution, as well as in the crease violation is illegal procedure. Having too many players on the field is a minor foul under illegal procedure. And finally, deliberately rolling the ball into the crease to regain possession or reset the 5-second shot clock count is under illegal procedure. Okay. Next is illegal equipment. That is a minor foul, as well as offside, lateness, warding off. Finally is a new rule called illegal crease defending. So when the attacking team has the ball in their opponent's defensive zone below the goal line extended, a defense player that's not marking the ball carrier within a stick's length cannot remain in the crease while defending. So if you're not on the ball carrier, you cannot remain in the crease. You must cut through and cut away. Okay, is that clear? I'm just gonna double check the chat if there's any questions that I've missed. Okay, so continuing on to major foul. Major foul, illegal body check. So a check on the body is a major foul. Second is slashing. Slashing is a mandatory expulsion as well as a major foul. Thirdly is cross check. A cross check is when we check the shaft, check the stick in the space between the defender's hands. So if you check someone else's cross like this, push into their shaft, that is a cross check. Fourth is tripping, as well as unnecessary roughness. Unnecessary roughness, by definition, is any avoidable act by a player that is deliberately and excessively violent, shall be designated as unnecessary roughness. So this can be either with the body or the stick. So we've gone through fouls such as pushing, holding, detaining, these as minor fouls. If an official deems it is under unnecessary roughness, if it falls under that definition, it can be characterized and awarded as a major foul. Okay. The next is an illegal stick. So captains as well as coaches can request for stick checks. But if after a stick check request, that stick is found legal, then a major foul is served by the requesting teams in home. Yes, so don't just call for stick checks. We do actually, there is a consequence for a unnecessary stick check. Next is unsportsmanlike conduct, as well as dangerous follow through, dangerous propel. Dangerous propel is any shot directed at or taken without regard to the position of an opposing player. This is dangerous propel. So in the next slide, during expulsion fouls, dangerous propelling can be an expulsion foul. We'll go through the definition of that in a bit more detail, so you can know the difference. The next is dangerous crease defending. So dangerous crease defending by definition is entering the crease above the goal line extended when the ball is above the goal line extended. The only exception of this is if the defender is marking the ball carrier within a stick length. So if you're remaining and entering the, you're remaining in the goal crease when the ball is above the goal line extended, that is considered dangerous crease defending and is a major foul. Final is walling. Walling is when defensive players crowd in front of their goal or form a stack or wall type formation in front of the goal without marking an opponent without a stick's length. Double teaming an off-ball attacker in front of the goal is permitted. So walling only constitutes as walling when there is 2 or more players. Don't crowd in front of the goal crease, basically. Any questions regarding the minor or major fouls from you guys so far? All good? Okay. Okay, then I'll continue on to expulsion fouls. These are the 5 definitions of what's considered expulsion foul. Deliberately striking or attempting to strike an opponent, coach, official, or spectator is an expulsion foul, as well as fighting, using abusive, threatening foul language or gestures. Any shots, oops, my bad, sorry, let's go back. Any shots, any deliberate checking to opponent's head, neck, or back is an expulsion foul. As finally, any shot directed at, taken without regard to the positioning of an opposing player that strikes the opposing player above the knees, with exclusion of the goalkeeper, is expulsion foul. So going back to the dangerous propel of a major foul, it does not specify if it does hit a player or not. So the general rule of thumb is, if it is a dangerous propel that does hit an opposing player above the knees, then it will be an immediate expulsion, okay? So what is the execution or what is the consequence of a minor, major, or expulsion foul? I'm gonna go through them right now. So for a minor foul, if the offending team has possession or if the ball is loose, then the possession will be given to the non-offending team at the spot of the foul. So if you're the attacking team and you commit some sort of foul, then your ball will go to your opponent. Second, if the non-offending team has possession, then the foul should be a 30-second suspension on the player committing the foul. So if it's a defense team foul, then the foul will be a 30-second suspension on the defending player that's committed the foul, okay? Next is the penalty for a major foul. The penalty for a major foul is a 1-minute suspension on the player committing the foul and the ball given to the non-offending team. So this does not specify whether it is your team is on the offense or on the defense. If you do commit a major foul, it will be an immediate 1-minute suspension, and the possession of the ball will be awarded to the non-offending team, okay? Next is a concept called fouling out. So any player who has committed 3 or more major penalties shall be fouled out of a game and no longer to further take part in the game. So if you do accumulate more than 3 major fouls, you cannot no longer come back into the game. A substitute is allowed to enter the game at such a time as a fouled out player would have been permitted. So if you have just committed your 3rd major foul, you did unnecessary roughness, you push someone too hard, then you'll be out sitting in the penalty area for 1 minute. After that 1 minute, a substitute may enter and you may no longer participate in the game, okay? Finally is if someone does commit an expulsion foul, then it will be immediate suspension from the play, and the in-home of your team will be serving the full 2 minutes of the expulsion foul. This is for officials to know. The official in chief needs to file an incident report to the governing body of that certain tournament regarding the reason and rationale of why this expulsion foul has happened. Yep. Any questions from you guys regarding the execution of the fouls, or any questions about anything so far? No? All good? Okay. Okay. Now we move on to official mechanics for officials. This is important to know. So play on technique. Number 1 is the play on technique that officials do use. During a minor foul is now specified. During a loose ball situation, officials can call the play on technique and withhold your whistle. But if the offending team commits a foul from the initial play on, then the whistle will blow and the first foul that was committed, so the team originally offended, will be awarded the ball. So this is a bit of a difference on the play on technique. The play on technique is what you would mostly hear when an official calls advantage in a 10-on-10 game, okay? Second is the slow whistle technique, or the use of the yellow flag in a 10v10 game. So in a 6v6 game, officials will no longer carry the yellow flag. Instead, we will raise our arm in the air until the scoring play has been completed. What does this mean? What does scoring play has been completed mean? You can find the definition back in the 10v10 rulebook, so I won't go too in depth through this. Okay, next. Official mechanics and reporting files will be a bit different from term V10 as well. So what we do now is whistle, direction of ball, color, player number, what the foul is, and the time of the field. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration. For example, it's white versus black. White player number 1 has committed an unnecessary roughness foul. So it'll be beep, black ball, white number 1, unnecessary roughness, 1 minute off the field, whilst I'll be raising my yellow card for major foul. Green card will be for minor foul, yellow for major, and red is for expulsion fouls. Okay. Since World Lacrosse has yet to release official hand signals for the 6v6 game, so all the minor major fouls that I talked about previously, they don't really have designated official hand signals at the moment in time. The rule of thumb is we do know coming up is the Easter weekend 6v6 tournament and games. Our recommendation for officials officiating that game is to use hand signals that we do know at this moment in time. So unnecessary roughness, if it was a very dangerous check, we can use a dangerous check hand signal in order to allow all the participants of the game, including spectators outside of the field, the team bench, coaches, to understand what was been happening. So our rule of thumb is to try to use hand signals as much as possible where we can, and we will try to update everyone once we do have given hand signals for the 6v6 files. Okay, going on. So what should players committing time-serving fouls do? So penalty time, as I said previously, this refers to the time for which the player will be off the field and out of the game. So the penalty time begins either when the penalized player is seated in the penalty area or when the whistle blows to restart play, whichever is the latter. So most of the time, it will be when the penalized player is seated in the penalty area, then the penalty time will begin. Foul time will run concurrent with playing time, but penalized players cannot leave the penalty area during timeouts, team timeouts, or between periods, with the exception of halftime. So if you do have a player who has committed a time-serving foul, then that player has to remain in the penalty area during the halftime or a team timeout. They can only leave the penalty area during halftime. Okay. Finally, time-serving fouls on goalkeeper will be served by the in-home and or additional players. So this is the rule of thumb for player committing time-serving fouls. So this is the last slide for my 6v6 conversion course. Now I'm opening up the room for everyone to discuss or ask any questions about any clarifications about what you guys are not too certain about regarding the 6v6 rules, okay? So does anyone have any questions or uncertain places they want to ask? Anyone? You can type in the chat if you're not comfortable with opening your mic. So we do want to clarify any questions everyone has right now. If you have any questions about, is that a foul or not, or how we'll be officiating the coming games, then it's most appropriate to ask right now. Nope. We're just gonna leave it there for a minute. No one has any questions? All clear? Everyone knows how to play 6v6 now? Okay. Okay. Well, if everyone's comfortable, then that is it for us. If you guys have any questions regarding 6v6 rules, you can direct your questions to me or Joyce Tai, our umpire-in-chief, as well as sending an email to our officials committee email. So we will give you responses to those if anything does come up. Yeah. Anything to add, Tai?
And the rules can be found on the World Lacrosse website. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we will try to send out the PowerPoint for you guys so you can go through it. Everything I said, it is in the speaker notes. So all the definitions, etc. If you guys need any referencing, please do go back to the original 6v6 rulebook. It is free and available for download on the World Lacrosse website. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for
Thank
joining.
you.
That's it for now. Thank you. Bye.